On an average, yearly, would you say is reported sexual assault?
Oh gosh.
I mean, is in the hundreds of thousands, thousands, or?
In terms of reporting,
Yeah.
I don't have a number.
You don't have a number.
But we know the Minnesota Department of Health put
Right.
out a report, a few years back called the Cost of Sexual Violence. And
Right.
we know that in the state of Minnesota, the cost of sexual violence is over $8 billion. The impact that it has on...
$8 billion. You hear that? Billion.
And so I would suggest, checking out the cost report.
Okay.
Has some really great statistics and numbers to project really how sexual
That's in
violence
Minnesota.
impacts our state. Yeah, just in Minnesota.
That's just in Minnesota.
That's just
Imagine all the other states.
Yeah.
And the other.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
8 million or
8
billion.
billion.
Oh, B.
8
billion.
billion.
B
Yep.
with a B.
Yep,
$8 billion is costing the
Yeah.
state of Minnesota
yep.
to reach out to all these.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not $8 billion we're putting into it, but if
No.
you project the different costs of, the healthcare costs and the
Phone services
yeah,
and the
yeah, just
coalition and the
sure.
people helping and the, oh my God.
yeah, yeah,
That's unbelievable.
yeah.
You think that you can put your mind around that. It's just unbelievable.
Yep,
That this is so much of this is happening.
yep,
What is wrong with people today?
yeah.
What happened to morals and values is what I'd like to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah.
You
And I think that something that we talk about at the coalition in terms of prevention is that we're really growing up we're raising children, and we're in the society where that is so sexualized.
Oh, yeah, sexual orientated
It's-
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's really becoming normalized.
Yeah,
in
and that's what's so bad.
Right, and whether that's in media or
Games,
yeah, video
songs,
games,
music.
songs, sure, yeah. Even the clothing nowadays that you see for some children,
oh, get me
So-
going on that. Oh, no, don't even get me started on that. If I was wearing some of the stuff that these women out here are putting on their little tiny kids,
and the messages being sent are like, this is
sure.
this
This is
is
normal.
acceptable, and this is
just show your skin. I mean, show everything you got.
yeah.
Whereas back in my day, the more discreet you were, the sexier you were, the less you showed, the more
Sure.
intrigue there would be. But that's gone
That's
now.
changed.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah,
It's no longer
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
So we're
that's,
really trying to
we're
work.
living in a man's world. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, we're really trying to work against those norms,
I hope so,
because it's really about changing the environment. We can't change individual behavior just one at a time. It's
No.
really working towards that environment.
That's true. We can't change the individual, but the whole environment as a whole. Boy, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you all the
Yeah.
way because this is so important. You're talking to somebody who's been there and been back,
Right.
and I understand that this is so important that we got to tell people to have some morals and values. Try talking to your children when they're young and they're 9, 10 years old. Start putting good vibes in there and start having, like my doctor. My doctor, he says he doesn't have a TV in his house.
Wow.
He does not have a television in his house. He doesn't want his kids subjected to these visual effects that are coming across the TV
Sure.
to his children because it's all sexually orientated. And he's like taboo.
Right.
Boy, you don't find many guys like that in the world.
No.
He's like, Dr. Sutterall, he's really a sweetie. I mean, I when he said it, I was like, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
That's great.
How smart is he?
Yeah. I think it's important to, have conversations with kids about healthy sexuality.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't have enough conversations about,
Right.
about what that looks like.
Well, yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
we're in a society where we're somehow raising sex offenders. And so
know.
really not just the messages to young girls that,
No. No.
But talking about what is healthy sexuality and what is appropriate, and giving them words for that, and
That's what they need.
yeah.
We need to tell them what's appropriate. I mean, if you're going to have this intercourse, protect yourself. I mean, there's not just gonorrhea and syphilis out there anymore. There's AIDS,
Sure. Yeah.
and you can die.
Yeah.
And then everybody you go to bed with, as you're going to bed with everybody they've been to bed
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
because the disease can be implemented into the organs, mouth or lower body. I mean,
Yep.
the whole thing. I'm serious. It's like so scary. And they need to know that. I don't think anybody ever talks about that. Do they teach us it at high school or grade school?
I don't. Some not so much. I mean, we've
Oh,
really
yeah,
supported
don't-
comprehensive sex ed, and and that's not. Yeah, that's not happening everywhere the way it should.
But see what I mean? Moms and dads are sitting home and saying, "Don't you talk like that around my kids." Well, honey, you better start thinking about having somebody talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they need to learn that they need to behave and be gentlemen and treat a woman and a girl like a respectful person.
Right.
They have
Right.
no respect for girls anymore.
Right. And there's a lot starting to
And
happen.
girls are also thinking it's okay to be wild and woolly because that's acceptable.
Well, there's a lot happening around the state, engaging men and boys in
good.
prevention,
Is there?
and trying to get out messages and healthy messages about, not just valuing women as sex objects.
Right,
and,
exactly. Yeah, right.
and not that entitlement that men, boys and men are raised with.
They grew up that way. Why aren't we getting? You know what? I want to get a bunch of dads that are against violence to women. How about a bunch of dads call Janie up, call me up, and let's start a program with a bunch of dads, grandpas, parents, that say let's stop this now.
Yeah,
And we'll have a big march down here in St. Paul
that would be fun.
against violence to women.
Yeah, yeah.
I want that to happen so bad. You're going to have to get a hold of me.
Yeah, there are organizations that are organizing, that are focusing specifically on organizing men and boys.
See, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, the Minnesota Men's Action Network is a great organization.
Minnesota Men's
Action Network.
I better get a hold of them.
Yes.
Write that down.
And there are other advocacy programs that are, working with either with them or, learning ways to try to engage men and boys, because it's not a women's issue. It's not. We need to pull men and boys in and as allies.
And yes, as allies to help the situation. Period.
Right.
Just to help.
Right.
They don't want to see their sons going to prison for rape.
No.
They don't want to see their grandkid going to prison for molesting a child.
Right.
Nobody does.
Right.
So let's join in and protect our kids. Teach them when they're young. Don't do that.
Yep. Yep.
You can have relationships, but foster a good relationship.
Yes.
Nurture good things to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Go out to dinner. Go see a movie.
Yep.
Kiss
that when the
goodnight on the
time-
porch.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that it's consensual.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Then that goes that way. Then, yeah.
Yep.
But don't force yourselves on anybody. I mean, anybody. Force yourselves on anybody. And the girls, watch out chasing those boys around. You might get in trouble. Right? It's true. You know, us girls, the girls are acting pretty wild out there, too.
Yeah. And,
It's because the guys think it's acceptable. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, and women and girls get messages that that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Whether they're comfortable with it or not. And then I think that's where victim blaming can come in, because then, she was running around, she was asking for it, she was
Right.
at that party, she was
and
I
dressed
think,
like that.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that sexual violence isn't going to happen unless someone chooses to perpetrate it. And so we really need to put the focus back on the person who is the offender, not the person that was victimized, no matter what the circumstances were.
See now I go. You know what? I go with you on that. Here's what I think. I actually believe that prostitution, that that the girl is a victim. I don't believe she should be arrested. I believe she should get help.
Right.
I believe that she's been conned, coerced,
Yep.
Forced,
Yep.
made to believe this is okay, and she knows in her heart and soul that it's not. And 98% of them want out of it, and I know that. But the men that are buying them
Yes.
are ruining their lives.
Yes.
They're
They need to be held
destroying
accountable.
their lives. They need to become accountable. And the guy, the pimp that's sitting home with the Cadillac, while she's out working her tail off, he's sitting home enjoying all the money and buying the Cadillacs and the living luxury, and he's off scot-free.
Yeah.
And she's going to jail.
Yeah.
I speak at the women's prison. There's a bunch of women in there for prostitution. It just blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
What in God's name are you guys doing?
Right. Prostitution is another form of sexual violence, the
Violence,
way that
it
it's
is.
perpetrated. Women are raped and beaten. It's not that they're in it for the money. It's not. No. And like you said, they are coerced. They're forced.
They are.
Yeah.
I was forced into it. If you want to get this money or you want to get your kids back, blah, 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 this is what you do.
And
I was like, oh no.
And the last statistic I heard was that the average entry of prostitution is 11. And so you can't tell me that an 11-year-old is going to, is an 11-year-old can't consent to something like that. And
What's that cortex thing in the brain?
Oh gosh.
What is that? There's like a cortex that's in our brain, doesn't connect. I mean, we're not fully developed at 23 years old.
Right.
That's the truth.
Yep.
So how can anybody at age 18, they say if you're 18, you make a choice. You made a choice. You're 18.
Yeah.
That isn't even connect. Your brain isn't even connected.
Right.
That's that cortex in the brain is the thing that makes us know, oh, gee, if I do something like that, like jump off that building, I'm going to die. But that thing isn't connected, so there's no circumstances of what's going to happen.
Right,
They don't
the consequences.
Right, they don't visually process
Yep.
what's going to happen if they do that.
Yep.
So that's why I think a lot of young girls
Yeah.
are getting taken, and that movie, you should watch that movie Taken. Did you see that movie Taken?
I did.
I tell you, one of my mystery guests, she's if you see my shows, she's called the mystery guest. She was taken to a place. The guy had wads of money like this. She was taken to this big, huge mansion up here in St. Paul. I'm serious. Wow. 20 other women, and they were getting ready to take them to Puerto Rico. They were all going to take these hoods, and they had guns, and they were talking about murder. I mean, this is serious, scary stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
So girls, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to be careful all the time what we do and what we say and who we meet and what we, project to these people. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show
Thanks
today.
for having me.
God, this has been fun. At least you and I understand what's going on. Now you guys got to start understanding what's going on out there, right?
Yep.
And we're going to put your website
Great.
and your phone number and everything where they can reach you.
Great.
And we'll be talking again, I'm sure.
Yes.
And you're going to send me some what advocates.
Oh yeah. Well,
send me a few advocates so they can come and talk about what's going on in
that would be great.
in the life when they're helping these girls
Over those
and
crisis
guys.
lines, yeah.
Crisis lines, what it's like
Yes.
to talk on the phone to these people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for watching today, and this is Janie signing off. Bye-bye.
I come hither stead that strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft.